Hey. It's Bergeron here with you, and today we're at Upper Canada Pioneer Village, which is just about an hour east of Kingston. And it's bright and early. It's a pretty clear, bright, sunny day. So I got my sunscreen on, I got my hat on, my sunglasses, all that kind of sun safety stuff. You really need to have sunglasses on when you're looking at a white page. You've probably heard me say this a million times. But as soon as you come in the front gates after paying your admission, you run into this mill. And this thing is super cool. It has a lot of little buildings coming off of it. So we're going to divide our page into thirds. Today I really want to talk to you about texture. I really want to talk to you about how it is that we're going to make this look like a stone building with a wood shingled roof. And I think we're going to do it pretty close to what it is that we have on the page here, or in the video here, I should say. So if I have do my little thumbnail here, I'm going to put this smokestack thing that you see, I'm going to put it right on the right hand 1/3 line. It seems a no-brainer to do that. And that's a smokestack that actually comes from this steam engine, and the lines coming off of that are a pretty interesting shape, I thought, also. But in the background here we have this that comes across this. We have this roof line like this, and then this comes up sort of like this. Alright, and that's not right, but that is. And then this joins back onto this. You have the front of the building, the back front wall of the building, and then there's a deck here on the front of this. There's another building in the back here that you'll see. Losing my voice a little bit. And this is actually a 3-story building, and it's got 3 windows on the front, and then downstairs here there's a little bit of a deck here. So we have to make some decisions about, are we going to include all of these elements, or are we not going to include all these elements? There's a building like this that comes off here. This joins onto this, and then there's another building here that joins onto this and comes off here, and then we get the front of this over here. So how much of this are we going to include? How much of this are we going to exclude? But the thing I wanted to talk to you about today was the texture of this building. You'll see that the roof has a very specific texture. You'll see that the stone has several different textures on this part of the wall here. The doors and windows also provide different textures. So how are we going to make all of these things look like different textures? My building is going to start on or around the 1/3 line that's going to cross the bottom 1/3 line. And I'm just going to put in a line where I think, and I'm going to make it big. I'm not going, because I'm going to erase. This is where the back side of the building is going to be. Windows, window, 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 and you'll see I'm just putting these in nice and lightly right now, nice and loose, just kind of keeping it all, very loose. There's another building in the background right here. The reason I'm trying to keep it kind of loose is I'm trying to look at things and just figure out, what is it that's going to go where, and how it is we're going to get those things on the page. So this is just an underdrawing. This is not going to be our, the main part of our drawing by any stretch of the imagination. I think where these buildings are is pretty good. I'm going to think about this some more and how to get this on the page better. But right now I think we're going to go right to our black Sharpie. All right. So I use black Sharpie lots of the time. Um, those of you that follow me know I love to use the black Sharpie pen. We're going to think about just putting in, so keeping this nice and loose. These are not going to be tight lines. These are not going to be absolute finite finished product lines by any stretch of the imagination. We're just going to put in some lines here. This is turning out not too bad already. So we got a little bit of a road that comes across here, a little bit of road that comes along here. I'm going to maybe just put this in with a bit of stippling. Stippling is one of the first things that I wanted to talk about today, because stippling is a way of creating texture. But stippling is thinking about your hand being sewing machine like. So you're just going up and down. That's it. Up and down and moving along. So you can draw a line. You can draw a curve. You can also take something like, maybe there's a brick and you want it to look a little rough and jagged. You could stipple onto the brick. You could maybe even just think about, this is a brick and I'm going to just stipple the whole brick. I'm not even going to draw a line. My line is going to be a whole bunch of little tiny dots all joined together. That's all stippling is. So you can use stippling in a variety of different ways. But that's how we're going to add some texture onto this roof. And so this is all stone, right? This is all stone. These are all wooden shingles. So the next thing I want to do here is I just really want to take my eraser and I want to erase all this stuff. Okay, so once you get all of your lines erased on there, now I've left some of my pencil lines in here because I think some of this is going to be some weeds and some gravel and some grass and things like that. So I'm not going to take them all out right now. I'll take them out before I start painting probably. But then again, I might not. So once you get all the lines where it is that you want all the lines to be, then you can start to think about how is it that we're going to put some texture into this. Now certainly this whole building here is all stone. It has some large, huge stones on the corners here, and I would suggest to you that I'm going to put those in next. And this building here is stone, and this building right here has some stone along the bottom, but I think I'm going to make most of this wood so that we can sort of demonstrate how it is that we might make wood on here also. So how it is that I'm going to make this into stone is I'm going to think that this line right here is pretty important. Okay, so I'm going to keep all this stone on the corner here going on that same sort of angle as this. Okay, and I'm going to make it going from the top, from the bottom to the top, I guess I should say, like this. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm not too worried about making them even or anything right now. Now I'm going to do this. So, coming across here are a lot of stones. I mean, millions of stones. It just doesn't sound to me like that's something that I'm going to draw in every single stone. There's no way I would do it. I would suggest that you wouldn't do it either. There's actually a sign that comes across here. I'm going to put some of that sign on there, just like that, just allude to the idea that there's a sign on there. You don't have to write anything on there. If you want to write something on there, you're perfectly welcome to do that. But going across here, I'm going to lightly touch my pen to the page some of the time. Just don't push down on it. You're just holding the pen and allowing it to drag across the page. Okay, so how am I going to make this look like stone? Well, there's a few different ways that you can do it. One is I'm just going to make some small little tiny little marks all the way across here. And I'm just kind of going top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. You could go in here and you could put in, you know, each one of them as a little tiny stone. You could go through here and put in a whole bunch of little circles, or, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm going to put in quite a few little, you know, stone like circles like this. Okay, so I've put in a lot of little tiny dots there and a lot of little marks, and you'll see that's created some great texture going on in there. And we also have some texture going on in here with this road, and now I want to put some texture in on this building here, and I'm going to use long linear lines, but much the same as these, in order to create it, to make it look like barn boards. So these look like lines of bricks or rock going left to right. If you want to make it look like boards, you need to make the boards going top to bottom. So again, it's just long linear lines that we're going to vary the width and the length of each one of them. Just vary it lots. Okay, we're going to paint it so it'll look great painted. Okay, now one of the things that I wanted to talk about is I like to make I like to double up lines. So I like to take a line and then double it up, take a line and double it up, and what that does is it adds a lot of texture, it adds a lot of variation to your drawing. Okay, so I'm going to do that to a lot of these right now. So I'm going to do it to the buildings, I'm going to do it to some of the windows. Let's have a go at it. Okay, so you'll see doubling up some of those lines, it adds some drama to some of those places. It makes it look like those places have a little bit more, you know, life to them. So again, another thing that I think we should do here is we should probably do some more stippling. We should probably stipple in some more of this gravel on here to create some more texture. Okay. Okay, so we got a lot of good texture going on the road here. We got a lot of good texture going on our buildings. We need to put in our roofs, and we need to put some texture in on these roofs. So these are shingles, and these are shingles that are going, you know, horizontal. And so we want to put our lines in just like that, just horizontal. Again, sort of touch the outside line and then pull to the right. You could do it going the opposite way also, and maybe I will, but start on the line and pull the other way. Alright, that's turned out not too bad. So we got lots of good texture going on here. Let's put some paint onto this. So we can take our pen and put it away, unless there's some lines on here that you want to take out. And right now I'm looking at this and I see that there's some pencil lines on here. I maybe don't want this pencil line on here, but I'm kind of okay with these pencil lines being here. If you don't want them, erase them now. The first thing that I notice is that the sky is a really pale blue kind of sky, so we're going to do that first. We're going to take our water. This is my Sommelier paint set. A link to this is in the description below. I bought this from Amazon. If you could use my Amazon links, I would really appreciate it. I would be most appreciative. Let's think about this. There's some trees in the background here that I want to include, and there's some trees in the background here that I want to include. So we're going to wet a large portion of this, but not all of it. I'm actually going to get a bigger brush than that. Remember, this is going to have very, very little pigment on the page. This is going to be one of those paintings where the paint is just a highlight, really only just a highlight. Because I think we did a really good drawing here, so we want to highlight the drawing. I'm going to take my paint set off here for a second. Just going to set it on the ground. And I'm going to move some paint around here a little bit. Okay, so this is green in here, and this is all gray gravel. So I think I'm going to do that right now, all this gray gravel. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush here that's got some green in it, and I'm going to pick up some more water, and I'm going to pick up a little bit more black, mix that into this wash, and then I'm going to cover all of this area that is stone with this little bit of wash. And remember, we're trying to keep this a drawing that has a little bit of paint on it, so we're not going to overly paint this. We're going to put in, you know, a little bit of paint. Keep this a drawing. Re-wet all this, and then I want you to think about taking a tissue, and we're just going to dab some of this. Alright, we're going to take some of that color off that page, just like that. Okay, that's pretty nice. See, I took some of that off, so I'm going to take my brush. I'm actually going to take a smaller brush this time, and some dirty water here, and mix it in with this yellow. And I'm going to take a little bit of this brown, put that into this, and then I'm going to take this paintbrush, and again I'm going to go over some of these areas very lightly. You'll see I'm doing some very light strokes. Alright, so I think I'm done this one. I actually kind of like this. I'm really appreciative of the way that the color turned out in this drawing. I hope you learned something about creating texture. If you're looking for any of the products that I used here, whether it's the Canson watercolor paper or the Sennelier paint set or any of the other things, you'll find links to all of those things in the description below. Please help support me by going through those links and buying some of those products and services when you need them. I hope if you did learn something, you'll give me a thumbs up. And if you're currently a subscriber, I thank you very much. And if you're not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot for checking me out, and we'll see you again next time.